Awakening in the middle of a prodigiously tough snore and sitting up in bed to get his thoughts together, Scrooge had no occasion to be reminded that the bell was once again about the hour of 1. He felt he'd been restored to consciousness right in the nick of time for the special purpose of holding conference with the second messenger dispatched by Jacob Marley's intervention. But finding that he grew uncomfortably cold when he began to wonder which of his curtains the new spectre would pull aside, he put them all aside with his own hands and lay down again to establish a sharp lookout all around the bed. He wished to confront the spirit at its first appearance, and he wished not to be surprised and made nervous. Gentlemen of a free and easy sort who plume themselves on being acquainted with a move or two and being generally equal to the time of day often describe their wide capacity for adventure by observing they're up for anything from a game of pitch and toss to manslaughter. Without vouching for Scrooge quite so heartily, I don't mind calling upon you to believe that he was ready for a broad field of strange appearances, so that anything from a baby to a rhinoceros would not have astonished him much. But being quite prepared for almost anything, he was by no means prepared for nothing. And consequently, when the bell tolled 1 and no shape appeared, he was taken with a violent fit of trembling. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. A quarter of an hour passed and still nothing came. All the while he lay in his bed at the center of a blaze of ruddy light which had streamed upon it the moment the clock proclaimed the hour. But being only light was more alarming than a dozen ghosts, for he was powerless to make out what it meant and what it would be at, and was sometimes apprehensive that he might, at that very moment, be a very interesting case of spontaneous combustion without the consolation of having known it. At last he began to think, as you or I might have thought at first, for it is always the person who is not in the predicament who knows precisely what is to be done in it, and would unquestionably have done it. At last, I say, he began to think that the source and secret of the ghostly light lay in the adjoining room from whence, on further tracing, it seemed to come. This idea having taken full possession of his mind, he got up softly and shuffled in his slippers to the door. The moment his hand was upon the lock, a strange voice called him by his name and bade him enter. He obeyed. It was his own room, to be sure, but it had undergone a surprising transformation. The walls and ceiling were so hung with living green it looked a perfect grove from whence every corner bright, glistening berries gleamed. The crisp leaves of mistletoe, holly, and ivy reflected back the light as if so many little mirrors were scattered there, and such a mighty blaze went roaring up the chimney as that petrification of a hearth had never known in Scrooge's time, or in Marley's, or many a winter season gone. Heaped up in the center of the room to form a kind of throne were turkeys, geese, game, poultry, brawn, large joints of meats, long wreaths of sausages, suckling pigs, mince pies, barrels of oysters, red-hot chestnuts, cherry-cheeked apples, juicy oranges, luscious pears, and immense 12 cakes, and seething bowls of punch which dimmed the chamber with their delicious steam. In easy state upon this couch there sat a jolly giant, glorious to behold, and in his hand a torch, in shape not unlike Plenty's horn, which he held up, high up, to shed his light upon Scrooge as he came peeping round the door. Come in and know me better, man." Scrooge timidly entered, and hung his head before the spirit. He was not the dogged Scrooge he had been, and though this spirit's eyes were clear and kind, he did not wish to meet him. "I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me, man." Scrooge reverently did so. It was clothed in a dark green mantle bordered with white fur. This garment hung so loose upon its figure that its capacious breast was bare, as if disdaining to be warded or concealed by artifice. Its feet, visible beneath the ample folds of its robe, were also bare, and upon its head it wore nothing but a wreath of holly, set here and there with shining icicles. Its dark brown curls hung long and free as its genial face, its sparkling eye, its open hand, its cheerful voice, its joyful air, and its unconstrained demeanor. Girded round its waist were bound an antique scabbard, but with no sword in it, and its ancient sheath was eaten up with rust. "You have never seen the likes of me." "No," Scrooge made it answer. "You have never walked abroad with my younger brothers, meaning since I am very young, my elder brothers born of these later years." I don't think so. I'm afraid not, Spirit. Have you had many brothers?" "More than 1,800. Oh, that's a tremendous family to provide for," muttered Scrooge. The ghost of Christmas present rose. "Spirit," said Scrooge submissively, Last night I went forth upon compulsion, and learned a lesson which is working yet. Tonight, if you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it. Touch my robe. Scrooge did as he was told and held on fast. Turkeys, geese, game, poultry, brawn, meats, pies, pudding, and punch disappeared in the instant, as did the room, the fire, the ruddy glow, and the hour of the night. And Scrooge and the spirit found themselves on the street on Christmas morning, where, since the weather was severe, the people made a rough, brisk, but not unpleasant music, scraping the snow from the roofs of their houses and the pavement in front of their dwellings.